Welcome to Grow Overload. I'm Anthony, and Intel is reducing its prices on some of its CPUs, and now AMD and ARM are in Surface products. The last couple weeks have been kind of busy with AMD and Intel having some news together, good and bad, so that way it makes for some really interesting content here, being able to compare contrast both of them on what they're doing each week. So we have Intel kind of, and I'm going to call them price reductions, price cuts, because they are reducing prices generation to generation, which Intel doesn't normally do. They usually come in with another high-end product to really show off what they're able to do. And this time, though, they have the new 10 series, Core 10 series out there, 10th generation, however Intel wants to call it. I'm getting confused in all these different cores and everything else for each generation. It doesn't even make sense anymore, Intel. Come on, clean it up. But they got their what they're calling Cascade Lake X, and this is going to be their new HEDT lineup with the 1090, 10980. Jeez, Intel. Oof, man, it's getting crazy here, Intel. But that 18 core 36 thread processor, still 165 watts, and all these new lineup is going to be 165 watts, but they are $979 this time. Last generation for the 9980, it was $1,979. Intel is lopping off $1,000 on their high-end one. And normally what Intel does is that they come in with another high-end processor up there, higher core count, something else to be able to keep that high price. This time Intel's not doing that, and it looks like AMD back in the competition has created a little bit of reduction in those prices generation to generation. And now in this HEDT lineup, Intel is going to have that 18 core. They're going to have a 14, 12, and a 10 core. No 16 core this time like they had last generation, but or starting in the Skylake X generation with the 70, what is it, the 79 and 60 or something like that. So that was a 16 core, but however, they're all got a much lower price. That 10 core is coming in at $590, and then you have the 12 core with $689. So they're trying to really come at the whole where Ryzen's at with the second generation. We got the 3900X out right now with a 12 core, and you're just in a mainstream processor. This is really cool that Intel's being able to respond like this and that they're wanting to do that. I'm just a couple things out of this. They're also reducing the prices of their core Intel mainstream core processors as well, and I believe even their workstation ones, Xeon workstations, have also dropped. So each of these are getting price cuts. Some things that I'm a little concerned about with Intel, because I don't normally see Intel do this. I always see Intel come with a new product at or above their current price rate. They don't really drop prices. They usually have another high-end product that they always slot at that top one. So it's really concerning about what Intel actually thinks about the processors in the current market, right? They no longer think that they are the top tier, and that's reflected in the prices. And like I said before, I just never have seen Intel drop that big of a change generation to generation. They're lopping off basically 50%. So I really like, though, that they're bringing the prices down, right? I just built a couple Intel systems here, so a little while back. Now, these processors are still going to be, I think they're out in November, so we still got some time here. But that's a good thing, and this is great. Hopefully, Intel can start responding, because we don't want AMD to do the same thing Intel did over time. And hopefully, there's a little bit fast responses between the two companies so that we don't have these going off. As an investor, this is kind of concerning me. I don't invest. I'm not giving investor advice right now, but I can see investors being kind of concerned about it, right? So what are they doing there and why? And this is just going to be how it is, right? Investors like to make that market share. So that's something that investors, I'm sure, going to come up at this next quarterly earning here that'll be happening within the next month or so. So that is kind of where things are on the Intel side of things. We get price cuts, but AMD, they're just responding to Zen 2, that whole Ryzen 3000 series that's out with the 7 nanometers. Is it enough? Threadrippers around the corner. It is enough if supply constraints, just shoot the prices high on AMD CPUs. But overall, I think that this is going to be good for consumers right now. But we really need Intel to start coming out with some new stuff here and really go after the high end again and push that into consumers as well, space, all the way through in the mainstream side. I like innovation. It makes things go. So let's innovate here. But now let's jump into AMD and ARM actually too. ARM is now in the Surfaces, are going to be here as well as AMD, and it's really kind of cool what they're doing here with that 15-inch laptop from AMD. I mean, the ARM product, we'll get to know more information about it soon enough, and hopefully I'll be able to take a look at that to see what they're actually doing. I'm kind of contemplating where I want to go with Surfaces. I got some other stuff to deal with as well that I like to buy, so we'll see. But they got an ARM, Surface now, and then they're going to have that AMD laptop. And where do I go? Plus, they got the dual screen devices with Lakefield. So there's a lot of options now Microsoft's doing. I think it's great for Microsoft to have diversity, to be able to use their products and work closely with these companies to basically create better products overall. And hopefully with AMD and Microsoft working closely together like they did on the Surface laptop, this is going to bring those innovations forward into Microsoft's operating system, so we have less of a headache as AMD releases new products and Microsoft puts out OS updates with how the CPU and the scheduler all communicate in that kernel. So there is hope there, people. I hope, we might not get it ironed out yet on Windows, but these new processors from AMD in the Surface 15-inch laptops, they have an extra Vega compute unit on them, so they're 11 instead of 10, or 9 instead of 8. So a little bit more powerful graphically, and then it looks pretty good, right? I personally can't wait till the next one, right? I want that 7 nanometer, a little bit higher core count, hopefully, maybe even some more CUs. But the customization that Anantech wrote about, and a little bit about there, I was reading it, I was doing some other digging and everything else, what else is out there. I'm kind of taking it as the interpretation that this is a partnership that in semi-custom that AMD really wants. They want to be able to deliver a product for that customer that best represents what they're going to be able to do with it. We can do some finer fine-tuning there as well, because Microsoft also makes the OS. So then you have the OS, the hardware is Microsoft, and then you have the design is Microsoft, but then you have the CPU product from AMD, and really that collaboration, kind of like they did with the Xbox, and what Sony does with the PlayStation as well with AMD. Get that fully custom system that's going to perform very well and is very well balanced to do what they want it to do. And I think this is a great opportunity for us to see. I think that this is just a start. If it sells well, I'm sure that we could see it expanded. But what Microsoft and AMD are able to do to create more products that consumers want. This is a huge design win for AMD. There's no doubt about it, right? You are getting a high-end, high customizable product that was designed around the AMD processor being delivered out from a company that likes to do high-end designs, Microsoft. So a lot of time we see AMD stuff that it seems like it's an afterthought, and a lot of these other OEMs. And here, Microsoft's putting forth the effort. I want to get my hands on it just because I've never seen something so high-end from an AMD product. So this is why I'm conflicted. I like to get the ARM one. I like to, get this Lakefield one. I like to get, the AMD one. Heck, I'd like to get all three, right? But there's a lot of money in that as well. So only time will tell to see how this really performs and everything else. But if they double core count and double thread count in the next generation one, just think of how much more powerful that is, especially with the 7 nanometer and keeping it within the same thermals. There could be a huge product here, but from what they're saying is in kind of like the compute side of things, it looks to be better than the original Xbox One. So that could be actually really good if you want to play a little games on the go. Heck, maybe even a little editing box on the go just to do stuff. Maybe, and that sort of thing. Like if I want to do some editing, as I travel or as I'm different places now, that might not be a bad option as well. I got the Surface, and that just takes a long time to do stuff with 2 cores and 4 threads. Yeah, so a little bit older Surface I'm using, but these are really some options out here. I like to see the direction AMD is going. So we got some good news, I think, in both Intel and AMD. Prices coming down in the Intel side of things, AMD going into some new high-end products that hopefully can showcase what they're really capable of. Let me know what your thoughts are on the price cuts. Let me know what your thoughts are on the new 10 series stuff and the confusingness of Intel's 10th generation, because heck, we're never going to get that fixed unless Intel goes maybe just redoes a whole generation or a renaming scheme. Hopefully they do that. But let me know what your thoughts are as well on that new Surface product from AMD and ARM, and Lakefield one with a Duo, and even their phone, right? They got the new Neo too. Neo, I'm getting them confused. Neo is the device and the phone is Duo, right? Okay, so let me know what your thoughts are in there and that. I know I didn't touch too much on those other devices, but heck, if you're watching this and you have a thought, I love to hear it. So with that, I do appreciate you supporting this channel and helping grow. I'm getting, I tried to get out a video last week. I got my, some family here that's trying to help me out. Still, at least there's some stuff, still going to the hospital daily, but not for me, for family members. But hopefully that gets ironed out here in the next couple months. So I will try to do 2 videos a week to get through this. Hopefully there's even more stuff being released out so that we can do some more, and I'm going to do some more BIOS videos as well. I have the MSI, where is it here? MSI B450i Gaming Plus motherboard, and I actually might do it too on the MSI X399 gaming one, because now their BIOS are slightly different because they had to reduce the size of this one, or what it looked like, to be able to fit all the processors in that they need. So with that, let me know what your thoughts are. Let me know what you like to do at the bottom as well. I still am doing some testing on the SSD side of things. But until next time, I do appreciate you guys and helping grow this channel, helping grow. It means a lot to me that you're able to do that. And until next time, God bless. And don't forget to like, share, and subscribe.